150. Welcome to the People's Mirror KE. Here is where we detail to you the news bits in the Kenyan political scene as they occur. We are an affiliate channel of the Civic Lens KE, which is the parent channel, and we ask you humbly to hit the subscribe button because we are still a very small channel to aid in our growth. Thank you. So yesterday we did a small mirage in the morning that Kalonzo was set to visit Opoda Farm. In that mirage, we highlighted that he was supposed to visit Opoda Farm alongside the delegations of the Wiper Patriotic Front. We also said that certain Kamba leaders were expected to be seen in that particular visit. We also detailed to you that he intended to drive into the Opoda Farm, the house of Raila Odinga the late, a herd of over 100 heads of cattle. And so it happened that Kalonzo, alongside 500 other people, visited the graveyard of the late Raila Odinga, and he went with the different leaders coming from the Kamba region, Kamba traditional leaders themselves. There was also church and religious leaders from the Kamba area. But notably, he also walked alongside two governors, being Governor Mutula Kalonzo Jr., pardon me for that error, and also Governor Wavinya Ndeti of Machakos. So this was very strategic entry, one that is very unique compared to other entries that have been made into the graveyard and to the Opoda Farm of Kango Kajaramogi in the recent past. And the family keeps saying that they keep detailing the numbers of visitors, mounting more each new day. So for this particular mini-sode, we want to focus really, put our people's mirror in front of the speeches that were made in Kango Kajaramogi and in the Opoda Farm. And we will take a look at 4 different speeches. But for this specific episode, we will take a look at Mama Ida's speech when this particular cohort arrived. And Mama Ida's speech is very, very important because since the death of the late Honorable Raila Odinga, Ida has shied away from making political speeches. But yesterday she was kind of really bold with the speeches that she made, and so we put that before the mirror. So when the delegation arrived, Mama Ida first started by quelling the noises that was around the arrival of this particular guests, and he was telling in vernacular language the people of Kango Kajaramogi and the people around Opoda Farm to shy away from making noise and give room for the visitors, because she used a phrase that it's the fly that likes you that actually makes her stop on your body. And so she was essentially saying that it's the people that like you that get a chance to come to your grave. And you could understand really the noise being made at Kango Kajaramogi at that point, because Kango Kajaramogi residents and the residents of the Opoda Farm at this point, you would say, are really confused on who is the good visitor and who is not the good visitor, because at one time they have visitors from the aspect of the government, being President Ruto and the likes, and they are being told to welcome those visitors, so they welcome them. And at one time they also have visitors from the opposition side, and they're being told to welcome them, and they are expected to welcome them. So they are confused who is the enemy and who is the friend. But Raila Odinga Jr. and the family of Raila Odinga has put that to rest quite a number of times, that everyone is welcomed in the grave of Kango Kajaramogi. So Ida's speech after quelling the crowd was that for a long time, Kalonzo Musyoka has been a friend of Raila Odinga, and that friendship cannot be erased out. Now, this speech, that particular bite of her speech has really been taken and interpreted very variedly in different platforms, but you cannot shy away from the fact that it has a very substantive political meaning. Now that Ida has not made any speech of that kind, even in the presence of President Ruto, and now that there is an issue of who will really inherit the political backyard of Raila Odinga, this kind of speeches being made at this time politically have a deeper meaning. And this is very interesting because if you look at the ODM as a party itself, when they're talking about inheritance politics being given to Oburu and how they're aligning themselves, You're seeing a section who are supporting Oburu, saying that nothing if not the DP, that is the deal they're giving Ruto. And you're seeing the likes of Sifuna saying they're really still not comfortable with the Ruto. They're intending to front a candidate come 2027 as the party. But as the party keeps making their own internal miasma and Wanga making mistakes in her speeches, the Oginga family have a different particular game plan when it comes to who will inherit the political mileage of Raila Odinga. And that was beautiful in Ida's speech. So it seems seems that people are really listening to what Ida said, and Ida's speech saying that Kalonzo for a long time has been a good friend of Raila Odinga, that particular friendship cannot be erased, and even going ahead to say that when Kalonzo comes to visit the grave alongside that particular delegates and those particular number of people, and when he comes driving that particular heads of cattle, then Ida believes that he is genuine and is a genuine friend. The Raila Odinga backyard support base, the morning support base that is left behind by the absence of Raila Odinga, are very eager right now to fill the vacuum that has been left in their hearts. And so they are looking left, right and center for the guidance of who will really be the person that they follow to fill that vacuum. And so in this particular confusion, as people are trying to inherit this particular political land, the government are positioning themselves as the people that Raila left in this arrangement, being that they were in the broad-based arrangement with Raila, and so the people behind Raila should remain with them. But this is not really hitting it for the people who are left behind Raila. Now, another section is the ODM members. They feel like the party is what Raila is known for. Raila's legacy is the party, and so they are trying to have a conversation within the party spectrum to the people that Raila left behind, showing them that if you loved Raila, then listen to what the party is saying. This also fails to hit at the core heart of this particular support base of Raila Odinga. Now, the widow, the person that has sat with Baba for all this time, the person, the family of Right Honorable Raila Odinga themselves, when they make a statement, when they give a political direction, then it has a different weight from the political direction that can be given by a Secretary General of ODM party, or a political direction that can be given by the broad-based officials where ODM was left. So the statement of Mama Ida is very heavy politically. It puts Kalonzo at a point of advantage because it portrays Kalonzo as the only genuine person that Raila Odinga left behind in Ida's eyes. And from that point, it creates trust in the hearts of the mourners of Raila Odinga that if Ida feels this way about Kalonzo Musyoka, and it is Ida who has been with Baba timeless, seen every day, because this was the spouse of Raila Odinga, then who are the mourners to believe something otherwise than what Ida is saying? So that particular statement has shaken a lot of people in the Kenyan political scene. They are wondering what is going to be the trajectory moving forward for the individuals that have not been approved by Ida. And by essence, you can say that it is going to shift on who to approach when you require the backyard of Raila Odinga. Because for some time, people have thought that Oburu is now the key guy. If you want Raila Odinga's backyard, go to Oburu because he's the acting party leader of the ODM party. But no. It's now showing that if you really need the backyard of Raila Odinga, then you need to go to the Raila Odinga's widow directly, because Mama Ida is there and she is the political chess mistress, you might say, that she has built this particular empire day in, day out with Raila Odinga. She knows the closest ally of Raila Odinga. She knows the enemies of Raila Odinga. She knows the people to trust. She knows the people who are genuine, and she knows the people who are not. And in all this entire knowledge of all that, she has chosen not to ever give this particular accolade to anyone before until Man Steve-O walked into that space. And you could even see from her body language when Kalonzo Musyoka was making statements now during Kalonzo's speech, which we will mirror in the following episode, on what really did Kalonzo say and what is its effect politically. You'd see the image, the body language of Miss Ida Odinga or Mrs. Raila Odinga when Kalonzo was speaking as a very welcoming, very familial body language to the man that Kalonzo is. So these particular statements that Ida made could have been a shoot high in the united opposition, and specifically for Kalonzo Musyoka, but really will be looked at where does they sit with the arrangement that now Kalonzo is into with the other members of the united opposition. If ODM or the support base of Raila Odinga was to rally behind Kalonzo under one category that they do not want to work with Rigathi Gachagua, what would Kalonzo choose? Would it be Rigathi Gachagua or would it be the backyard of Raila Odinga? That is is the people's mirror on the statements that were made by the Mrs. Ida Betty Odinga Daktari, who is the widow to the late Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga.